So this is one where I had been hoping to find a good sparring partner before I did a review, because I like to do reviews of like two or three things at a time, comparatively, rather than just one thing, as I think that provides some more useful context. But part of the theme here is that I wasn't really able to find a lot of other stuff like this. So, we're just going to do it on its own. This is Père Labat, Rhum Père Labat, from Marie-Galante in the Guadeloupe Islands, the French and West Indies. Where do I start with this? So there is not a Père Labat distillery. This is from the Poisson distillery, which is one of, I think, 4 or 5 distilleries on Marie-Galante. When people think of the Rhum Agricole style, they mostly think of Martinique. And I've done a whole bunch of videos on the Martinician rums because I like them a whole lot. I love that style. But Guadeloupe also makes some really fantastic Agricole rums. And they're also a little bit more free in what they do because they don't have the same sort of AOC restrictions that Martinique does. And in fact, one of my favorite rum distilleries in the world, BL, is on Marie-Galante. I've only been able to try one thing of theirs. It was a sample from years ago, but it impressed me so much that I've always had my eye out for other stuff from the region ever since. Anyways, I was hoping to get some stuff from the Bellevue distillery. Has an option called Dema. It starts with a D, and I'll never remember it because I didn't write it down. But that's out there. It isn't available in Chicago. I've also the BL distillery also has the stills for Rum, which I have reviewed before. I'll link that up below. But I couldn't get any of that around here either. So we're just going to do this on its lonesome. Thank you for Storm Satic on Reddit for sending me this sample, by the way. So this is they make a 40% version of this. And they make an aged version of this. This is the unaged version at 59% ABV, which is a hell of a lot stronger than any Rhum Agricole I can think of until you get into the sort of crazy end of the Nason range, which I also cannot get here. Are you seeing a pattern in this? If this is available in your area, you are very, very lucky. I cannot get this in my area. And Chicago's a pretty darn good spirit market. Okay, so I'll shut up and just do a review of this. All right, Père Labat, 59 degrees alcohol, Blanc, named after a guy who revolutionized sugar plantations on Marie-Galante years ago. Slave owner, probably not a great guy, but take what you can get. Okay, smells like a rum agricole, actually, but more floral and grapey than I was anticipating. Or at least that you get in Martinique. My first point of reference for this is actually Blanche Armagnac, sort of unaged grape eau de vie. That's kind of what I'm getting on this, but there's rum elements kind of right along with that. By the way, I think that you're using the same kind of stills. So it's Creole stills with this, not pot stills, not those big industrial column stills, short squat column stills, the old school ones. Same kind, roughly the same kind that they use in Armagnac. So the connection makes sense. Yeah, it's Blanche Armagnac, but you're gonna dump some olive juice into that, and you're gonna throw like a batch of like geraniums or something into that, like maybe some floral stuff. I'm terrible with flowers. I should just take the time to learn my flowers. So a little tomatoey, a little pizza sauce in there, not too much. We're not we're not in Mexico with that style. This is not Taronda, but a little pizza sauce in there. And also just a splash of raw seawater. It's very clean, actually, especially compared to, well, definitely compared to molasses pot still based rums, but also just Martinician stuff. This smells, I mean, squeaky clean. There's a kind of citric element. There's some lime and grapefruit, kind of intermingling. More the juice than the zest or anything like that. Just the juice. Some just grassy. I mean, it's not really like cut grass or dry grass. It's literally like you just pulled out some fresh grass and smelled the grass blades. You just pulled out of the ground. It's that fresh. Little hit, something reminds me of fish. There's a seawater note, but it's also almost like a fish sauce kind of note, but very, very subtle. Just a subtle fishy character. But other than that, like extremely clean, very precise. Like a Loire Valley white wine or something. A little bit of chalk, kind of a minerality, but definitely chalk in there. Kind of a magic marker sort of note. If you know that smell from childhood, if you're a marker sniffer like me. More tomato, like a cherry tomato thing. Very, very nice, not stinky tomato in any way. And a little lychee fruit, kind of mixed in with the grapey notes. It's really lovely, actually. It's a great nose. On the palate, again, 59 degrees alcohol. I am going to take a very tiny sip of this. Do not shoot this. It's very clean. I mean, it's big. You get the alcohol nip. It has lots of flavor, but man, it's just, there's something refreshing about drinking this. It feels like my mouth has been cleansed somehow. Notes. We're getting Armagnac Blanc again. We're also getting magic markers again. So you're not just sniffing your markers, you're also kind of chewing on them a little bit. That sort of pulled grass note, that's still here. That grapefruity thing, it's more, but it's not the juice this time. It's more like the pith, the white stuff. You're chewing on the grapefruit white stuff. Okay. Subtle San Marzano tomato. A little bit in there, not too much. Spritz of lime. Definitely seawater again. And the finish is, I mean, the finish on this is very light. Well, not light. Light is the wrong word. I mean, it's very herbaceous. It clings on forever, but it's very clean, very herbaceous. Kind of a mix of like eucalyptus and just rocks, crushed rocks. There's some chalk, like chalk dust, limestone, seawater, definitely, but nice. And straight cane juice. I mean, just, you know, throw some cane juice into your seawater. Champagne vinegar too, although I don't think they can call it champagne vinegar these days. So whatever substitute name they come up with. Olive juice, definitely olive juice again. Just a very, very clean spirit. This should be an astonishing aperitif if you want your aperitifs to be, you know, 59% alcohol. All right, I'm going to add a couple squirts of water to this and come back to it for final score. 4. This can do 5. Let's see if that's right. That's close enough. Could do another half squirt, but I don't think it needs it. Again, the point with the squirts of water is not just to prove it down for my own comfort, although I do that sometimes because I'm a wimp. Um, it's also just to open the spirit up a little bit. You can also do the same thing with just giving it air, but water tends to work faster and it tends to bring things out that you wouldn't get with just air. So that's why I do it more so than the proofing it down thing. Although I am a wimp. So yeah, I don't know quite what else to say. I don't know why these the Guadalupe and whatever Guadalupean would properly whatever that construction would be. I don't know why these rums don't show up in the U.S. very often. They're the ones I've had have been terrific, but for some reason they just don't get the same distribution as even the ones from Martinique do. And I seriously hope that someone out there will step up to bring them in. PM Spirits, who Storm Static works for, so this is technically like payola, I guess. Bear that in mind. Don't trust me. Do not trust me. Don't trust any reviewer. So, they've stepped up and brought this in, and the price point is terrific. I think the retail on this is like $30 or something, which is crazy. But I mean, there's more out there. There's definitely BL. There's more Bellevue out there. Just on Marie-Galante, I mean, you go to the rest of Guadalupe, and there's still more distilleries out there that some enterprising importer can bring in and really, introduce to the American palate. And I think particularly as often as people are going to want to be outdoors this summer and celebrating with other human beings, once the vaccines have kind of gotten around, like having a whole bunch of refreshing unaged rums around to drink and mix with, lime and sugar, that's going to be a successful business model, I think. Anyways, I'm just dropping suggestions here for anyone who wants to bring in some, BL or whatever. All right, I've babbled long enough. Let's go back to this, see how it behaves with water. Okay, on the nose, with a dash of water, becomes more olivey, a little more herbal. What is the sort of fresh, super mega fresh grass thing comes out a little bit more. The floral things comes out a little bit more, and the olives, and sorry, I burped. More chalk, more kind of just caniness, even a little bit of almond in there, like a little squirt of almond extract, with some lime as well. It hasn't really, I mean, it hasn't really developed and gotten more complicated since I've had water, which is what I'm really looking for. But it hasn't gone in a bad direction at all. It's just kind of brought out certain more savory elements. And that's nice. On the palate, oh, a lot of like white pepper. No, not white pepper. This is more like the pink peppercorns. The ones where you spend like $8 on like a little grinder with the pink peppercorns. Yeah, it doesn't, again, kind of the same story. The water doesn't bring out a whole lot of extra complexity. It just kind of makes a lateral move into a different direction. This time it gets much more peppery, slightly more chalky, and much sweeter. This really brings out the sort of fresh cane juice aspect of this. Yeah, flowers, herbs. What kind of herbs? Like eucalyptus, I guess, would be the main one. Kind of rocks, chalk, cane juice, terrific, fresh, clean, precise finish. Again, I'm thinking, like really good Chenin Blanc from Loire Valley. That's kind of the character this has. There's a little bit of a clover honey note in this. A slight, very floral honey. But really, it's more cane juice. And what's like not to like about this? Like, and for $30, I mean, this is a hell of a value. All right, I'm gonna give this 87 out of 100. This is extremely good. And if it's available in your area and you like this style, or you think you might like this style, I mean, pick this up. I mean, it's, you know, I've talked before about what an extraordinary value white rum is right now, because you know everyone wants brown spirits, except for mezcal drinkers, but they're a little bit weird. Everyone wants brown spirits, and no one is thinking about, you know, stuff like this. So if you want a value in the spirits world right now, I mean, seriously consider grabbing a bottle of Père Labat 59. Grab some Ray Nephew on the side. Grab some Rhum Fire. And some other things, but yeah, this is white rum's moment for me, and that's kind of all I got to say. Good stuff, 87 out of 100, and thanks for watching. Cheers.